know. Here's everything to know about the board so that happens to you as little as possible, and you get everything you want, including that pony for your birthday. So for this next episode of FM for Beginners, we are going to talk about the board. You probably guessed that from the title, but the board is something that I haven't touched on yet. I need to touch on before we progress into actually playing matches and stuff, because it's just one of those things that while you don't deal with the board on a day-to-day basis, it is going to determine the overall direction of your club and the overall direction of your save, and it is always something you need to be paying attention to if you are not actively doing it all the time. It's there. It's like the umbrella over everything. Hello. Welcome to FM for Beginners. Now then, first thing you need to understand about the board is that they are actually in the game the same way everybody else is. They've got personalities and stuff. If you go to your staff and you go to all, and then you sort like by team, or that's not right, sort by job, you'll see like presidents and board members and stuff. In my club, president is Jose Afonso. He bought the club from another person, and that opens up the can of worms called takeovers. And I'll tell you right now, nobody has a ton of experience with takeovers. There's essentially three. There's one takeover where you end up with a lot more money. The second type of takeover is local takeover. You don't end up with any different money. And the third type of takeover, they buy the team and then fire you. So pay attention if one of those is going to happen. And if a takeover is about to happen, you should probably start winning games. But you can see the president and any other board members you'll be interacting with. And every time you go down to club vision and you go over to like board requests and you click through all these different sections, say I want to ask to increase the number of physios that my team has, well, I can click here, and then in a short while I'm going to get a response. Now that response sorry, I'm allergic to the board. That response is going to take you into an actual boardroom for the first time. So if we hit continue, we should get a notification, right? They have rejected my offer to get more physios. Well, we go discuss with the board, and it's when you get here that you'll see like all the people that you're interacting with. So Jose Afonso has a personality and everything. You just can't see it. And as you interact with him over time, you'll figure out whether he's ambitious, whether he's loyal, whether he loves you, whether he hates you. You usually can figure that out pretty quickly, and how invested they are in actually making the team better, because there is a big variety in terms of owners and the board interactions you have. Some people are really ambitious and want to see the team thrive. Other people love the club, but they want to put themselves out on a limb financially. And then there's the third version of people that it's like an investment. They don't want to lose a lot of money, and they don't really care how the team is doing, which can be better for you if you suck. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and leave this conversation, and we'll go back to club vision, because this is where we'll just be interacting with the board for the rest of the time. So as you see, there's a lot of different options, different things that you can ask for. And on any given club at any one given time, there's going to be a lot of different options that you are presented with. And I'm never going to get all of those options on one club at one time. So we'll talk about what I can see here, then what I can't see here, and how you should handle each of these sections. The first section is finance. Now, finance, you'll see options to increase your transfer budget, to increase your payroll budget, which of course, if you click finances, you can see, as well as your overall club balance, which you are kind of managing as well. The board is looking out for the balance, right? You're looking out for the balance. If you're unsure whether that balance is good for the league you're in, or like how much money you bring in and how much money you lose, your financial status at the top. You can be rich, secure, okay, or insecure. Right now I'm secure, so we're feeling pretty good. Okay is fine too. Insecure, depending on if you're like about to get promoted or something, can also be okay. But if you are insecure, you are in danger if you maintain the status quo of being in bad places financially. Administration, you're getting fired. The kids don't have anything to eat. It's a disaster. You can ask to increase both of these budgets. You can ask to increase the budgets next year. What you also can do is ask to increase something called a transfer revenue retention, which is this percentage that you see right here. This is something that's cheeky that when you click on your board request, it's actually right down here too. You can increase your transfer revenue retention, which means like when I sell a player for $10 million, right? Never done that. Hoping to do it at some point. I'm in FM21. Okay. Not trying to invalidate myself here. You sell a player for 40%, well, 10 million, and you get 40% of it, and you get $4 million right into your transfer budget from that sale. Now, the $10 million will go into your balance, but 4 million will go directly into your transfer budget. So your transfer retention is important, and you can handle it and ask about it in finance. Another thing you can ask about in finance is junior coaching. This is something that if you go to club info and you go to facilities, you can see your level of junior coaching. You can, adequate is just below average, and it usually is pretty intuitive, like what level you're at, but it doesn't give you an exact level like a rating or a star, because it wants to be more realistic. We've got adequate academy coaching. In the finance section, you can also fund your junior coaching. You just sort of thing you want to improve as much as you possibly can. Same with youth recruitment, which my board hasn't let me improve once, which is a disaster, and your training facilities and youth facilities, which you can both improve. And this is all stuff that, one, the board can initiate it, but most often you're going to have to be the one to initiate improvements to the club. This goes from junior coaching and youth improvement. When youth improvement's going to come up in networking, you can increase and cut back your youth recruitment. Improving that sort of stuff and improving facilities is typically going to fall on you. So it's something you should be aware of. If you feel like you have a couple million in the bank, you feel like you've made more money and that you are past the level of the facilities that you have, and if a good idea to check is find a team next to you in the table and go to their facilities. And if they have better facilities than you do, and you have the money in the bank, which by the most expensive training facilities like 10 million or something. It changes every year, but that's essentially how expensive like the top level is. So if you have $1 or $2 million, you typically can afford pretty decent training facilities as long as the teams around you have the same thing. And you go ahead and ask for it. I've asked for both, and that'll come up in a facilities section. Of course, the biggest improvement of all is the ground. Dangerous. Be very careful. Building new grounds can be tremendously expensive, and you only get to do it every 20 years. It's hard-coded into the game. You cannot build a new ground after 20 years. You can only do it every 20 years, which means I am waiting. We're currently renting our stadium, and stadium situations can be very bizarre. We're renting our stadium from a 4th division team. It's an 8,500 all-seater in Lisbon. We pay $28,000 a year. Right, your stadium situation is always going to be super unique to your club. There's all sorts of combinations. You can be renting out Wembley or something. That's where you need to play. If you get promoted a couple of times and you don't have a stadium that fits the requirements, the board might automatically build a new stadium, in which case you're screwed. Congratulations. You can also expand the seating in your stadium, which is something that will come up with the ground. You can install under-soil heating. You can like resod the field if the condition is poor, which you can see in the facilities section. It'll say like the field condition is good. You might have the option to ask the board like, hey, look, we need to relay the pitch. Like we need to redo the field to make it better. Right? It could be turf. Like you have all of these millions of different millions is strong, dozens of different things that can be happening with your stadium. You will not have to deal with it a lot. Tread very carefully. It can bankrupt you. That's just, I want you to understand that. If you are not confident and comfortable in your financial situation, like secure, then don't do it. Do not build a new stadium. You want to get to a point, sell a player or something where you're like, cool, we're great, we're winning, we're at a much higher level than we were before. Let's see if we can build a new ground. We've already talked about your youth recruitment. In the networking section, you also have senior affiliates and affiliate clubs. Now, these are deserving of essentially their entire own video. Now, affiliate clubs can serve a lot of purposes. They can provide you with players through your youth recruitment. They can provide great avenues to loan players out to, right? You can put players on the loan list, and then that club can say, we want these players, we think they'll play for us, and that will be great. You can get an affiliate club that helps raise your profile in another country, say in the MLS or in China or in Japan, something like that, in a big media market that loves the sport, right? That you are trying to build your profile in that country, increase t-shirt sales and reputation and all that stuff. A senior affiliate can be great for a lot of things too, because you can share training facilities with senior affiliates. You can loan players in for free from senior affiliates if they're on the loan list. So if you're in League 2, a senior affiliate like Manchester City can make all the difference in the world, right? I mean, you can get 3 or 4 players from them, whatever the max requirement is. I think it's 4, and that can completely change your team. You know, it doesn't cost you any money at all. In any way that you can work affiliate clubs and senior affiliates out in real life, you can work them out that way in this game. Like, let me ask for an affiliate club real quick and I'll bring it up. If I go discuss with the board, after they deny it, we should look to send players out on loan, new affiliate to secure first option on players in the club with good youth recruitment, to improve our scout network's knowledge, right? We get an affiliate club in like South Africa or something, and all of a sudden we've got a great understanding of the whole league, or Brazil, Why did I say South Africa first? You also have to pay a fee to the affiliate clubs, but most of the time when you're in that situation, you normally feel like it's the right thing to be doing financially. Like, you're not worried about the 90 to 100,000 you're gonna have to pay to stay linked with this club, but you don't want an affiliate club if you're yourself like semi-pro. You want a senior affiliate because they'll be paying you to loan their players out to you for free. But as a semi-pro club, it can be hard to get those loans in. Then there's some smaller things, like if you are a smaller club that does not have the ability to scout the whole world or the whole continent, sometimes you can only scout your, well, not city, nation, or nation, I think is the lowest it goes. You can ask to increase scouting range and networking, and you can ask for a trial day. That's when you invite a bunch of players to come train, and maybe you want to sign them. It's a lower league kind of move. In the personal section, you can talk about maybe changing philosophies, ask for a new contract, the sorts of things you negotiate right at the beginning that we've already made videos about. And then in the staff section, there are a lot of different pieces to this, most of which I do not touch. The board will come to you fairly regularly and ask about increasing salaries, and the salaries will increase as your balance increases. So the only way to increase your coach salaries is not to ask for it, right? You can, but it's one of the easier parts to skate by. Now, you will probably want to ask for as many different physios and scouts as possible, which you'll find down here at the bottom, and as many coaches as possible, because that lowers the workload of all of your coaches and makes just training better. And asking to improve those is pretty straightforward. You ask for more, they say yes or no. If they say no, you try and argue your case. The one thing I will say, though, is let's ask for more coaches and then hit continue. Is that when you go to discuss, like how I knew that they were going to reject that, you go to discuss and you say, well, increase the number of first team coaches to reduce the workload on the current staff, and then he's going to deny me again. You do not want to say that you won't be able to carry on in this job. You do not want to threaten, because they will literally fire you if they feel like that they don't need any more coaches more so than they need you. There's a lot of different ways to try and convince the board to come around. A lot of them can work. You really have to take an intuitive approach to this. Football Manager is an intelligent game, and so if the fans are behind you because you're a fan favorite, you're a club icon, then you can try and pressure them with that. You can say lack of ambition. I fear some of our players won't realize their potential, which is a legit threat if you have a lot of talented young players. I do, so I honestly think that that might work if I try and leverage that. But they're of the belief that they have the opportunity to reach their potential. So that's no ifs, ands, or buts. And that's just to get a feel of the negotiation with the club. Just know that if you threaten, they will actually, like, you can lose your job in one of those negotiations only if you threaten, right? They're not going to get super mad at you. You've also seen people get fired if they leak it to the press. At the end of those meetings, you'll have the opportunity, says, leak to the press. You only want to do that if you feel like you're in a confident position. If you're not, really, they'll figure out it was you that leaked it to the press. And I have seen people get fired for that. So tread carefully. And it's always worth maybe once a month coming back, hitting board request again, and looking to see if there are any options that were not there previously, because the options all restock at different times. There is a certain element of mystery as to how long you have to wait after something ends up in the completed column. Sometimes when it's still there, you can ask about it again. Sometimes when it's not there, you still can't ask about it. So there's a lot of mystery that goes into it. Just once a month, have a click through your board requests if it's not something you've thought about in a while. See if there's any options there that you would want to hit that can improve your team. All of that then plays into, how well you're achieving all your goals, which we have a B+, and it's pretty good. And that's essentially your relationship with the board as well. I got a B+ relationship with the board. The better you are, the higher that rating is, the more likely they are to accept requests that you make. I feel like that was kind of obvious. But there you go. It's a board.